Hey friends, in this video, I'm going to show you how to make some cakes and pies using simple lines and shapes. Let's get started by dividing our paper into 4 parts or 4 sections. First, we're going to fold it in half one way. Make sure your corners match before you crease, and then gently press and rub really gently. You don't want a sharp crease, okay? And then open it and smooth it out. The next step is you're gonna fold it again the opposite way. Remember, make sure your corners match and gently crease. Open, smooth it out. Now, to really see the difference between these 4 spaces on my paper, I'm going to take a marker. I suggest you start with a pencil and make your lines, and then you can trace with your marker. But I want you to see what I'm doing, so I'm going to use my marker. To make a really straight line, it's helpful to go from top to bottom, vertically towards your body. Drag your hand and arm along steadily, and don't press too hard on your marker. If you're finding you're getting these little dots and it's sticking as you go, that tells you you're pressing too hard. Slow down, muscles. Press gently. Here we go. Vertical right down that center crease. Turn. We're going to do the same thing down this center line. Here we go. Good. Now, each section is going to be for a different item. We're going to start with a pie right here. Again, I suggest you start with a pencil and then trace with your black marker to really make your drawings pop, pop, pop off the page. We're going to start our pie with an arch, a big curved line, okay? Kind of like half a circle. Notice how I'm using my finger to practice before I draw. I think I'm ready, so here we go. Arch up, arch down. Boop. And that's it. We're going to connect these 2 ends with a curvy line. Now we're going to add another curvy line right below it. It's going to start at this end and end over here, just like that. Easy like a piece of pie, huh? Next, we're gonna make 2 diagonal lines. These are gentle diagonal lines. We don't wanna make it look like a V or an ice cream cone. This is just our pie dish. So we want a gentle diagonal on either side. And you can go ahead and connect those with a horizontal line. There's a little curve to mine. It's cool beans. Next, we want to add a little texture to our pie crust up here with little raindrop shapes. Now that looks like a point at the top and a little oval at the bottom, just like that. If you're unsure about this shape, go ahead and grab a piece of scrap paper and practice. I like to add little heat lines with a curvy line. Warm from the oven. Now you can go ahead and decorate your pie dish any way you want. I just want it to make it pop a bit more, so I'm going to add some stripes using a vertical line in the middle, a gentle diagonal line near the edges, and one more gentle diagonal. I ordered it this way just to get an even space. You do what makes the most sense for you. Now let's move on to space number 2. We're gonna add a piece of pie over here. And we're gonna start with a rectangle. Rectangles have 2 long sides and 2 short. Here we go. Long. I'm gonna make my 2 short. And 1 more long line. On top of the pie, we're going to make a little triangle, okay? Now, one side is going to be much longer than the other. So if it's helpful to make a little dot, maybe 2 fingers from the edge, boop, there you go. Now you can just connect the dots with a diagonal line this way and a diagonal line that way. Look at that. Yummy piece of pie is almost ready. But we need a crust. What would a pie be without its crust? Start with a horizontal line near the bottom, and notice how it extends. It's a little longer on this side. This side you can just connect them. Here we're going to make a vertical line down. Yum, yum, yum. And next, a little zigzaggy, curvy-ish line for the top crust. Oh, delicious. My friends, if you want a different kind of pie piece right here, like say you wanted to add a little drizzle, a little yummy sauce on top of your pie, you can add an uneven curvy line. This line I'd say is pretty even, the curves are relatively the same. But if we make them uneven, like this, some long, some short, looks like there's pie drizzle. Maybe I'll add a little bit up top so it looks like it's falling off the pie. Yum, yum, yum. That'll show up a bunch more when I add color in a little while. Next, we're moving on to cake. Cake is going to start down here. We're going to do a whole cake, and it's going to be a two-tiered cake, which means there's one on the bottom and one on the top. Here we go. Start again with your rectangle. Now we are drawing a cake here, so you can get a bit more creative and add some bumpy lines for frosting at the top and the bottom. You can even add some outside the cake. Look at that. And now we're going to add our second layer, the second tier of the cake. 2 short vertical lines. Connect it with a horizontal, and there's your second rectangle. And add a little frosting up top here too. I like to add a little candle on top. Why not? Whoop, just like that. Now you can go ahead and decorate your cake too. I'm going to add some wavy lines. You can add stripes. You can add wavy lines, curvy lines, diagonal. You can add just little dots, polka dots. It's your cake. You get to decorate it however you like. Remember though, the more designs you add, the more you have to color in. Alrighty, who's ready for a piece of cake? Me! Alrighty, now this one's a little tricky, so go slow. Here we go. I'm gonna start at the bottom. We're gonna have 2 skinny rectangles, one on top of the other. So I'm gonna start here, long horizontal, short, short, long horizontal. Notice, see how this is much thinner than this rectangle? And I went over the edge there. That's okay, nothing I can do about it. It's cool beans. I'm gonna add another rectangle right on top of this one now, but leave a little space. Boop, just like that. Top over here. Excellent. Now, this space here you can close. Boop, don't touch that spot yet though. We're gonna leave that open for more frosting. So just before we forget, let's put this vertical line here in a little oval-ish, curve-ish shape. That's the end of our frosting. Now, next step, we're gonna add one more line up top here. Excellent. Now connect those dots and you're going to complete the top over here. I know this space is open. Leave it there. We're going to add to that in just a moment. But the next step of our cake is just like our piece of pie. We're going to add a triangle up top. Now, if you wanted to add a little piece of fruit or a flower, a little cherry right here, you'll want to do that before you add your second diagonal line. So let's add a little cherry. I'm going to do a little circle-ish. It's almost like a smooshed heart, isn't it? my little stem. And now my second diagonal line is gonna go right underneath. Here we go. If you don't want anything on the top of your cake, no worries, you just do it exactly the way we did the pie piece over here. And to make it look like it's really sitting in there, you can add a little line there if you want. Unnecessary. I don't know how I feel about it, but you can do as you wish. Next, we're gonna add some bumpy lines for frosting. And that is your delicious completed cake. My only change would be, I don't know how I feel about that big dark line there, but it's cool beans. Can I erase it? No. Am I cool with that? Yup, because now is the fun part. We get to color in our cakes and pies. Remember, the key to staying in the lines is coloring slowly. So please take your time, young artists. And one more thing before we go, actually. I'm gonna grab another marker. It's a little thinner. My backgrounds feel a little boring. If you want to keep them plain and cool, that's simple, that's fine. But I don't know, something's just telling me I want a little bit more pizzazz. So I'm going to decorate my background with patterns. Patterns are repeating designs. Now, your patterns can be the same or you can change it up. It's your choice. All right, ready to color in. I'll be back in a moment with my finished work. And there you have it, my friends, all colored in. Notice how I chose to use markers for my pies and cakes and then crayons for the background. That way my cakes and pies really pop off the page. Can't wait to see your tasty creations.